My name is Host Eric. I'm the host of Talking with Famous People. And welcome to an increasingly rare live stream. I don't stream nearly as much as I used to. I guess I don't find it very gratifying anymore. I was musing yesterday that part of the reason why I don't stream much anymore, maybe that I replaced whatever streaming gives me with engaging with AI. I don't know if that's accurate or not. It's hard for me to determine subjectivities like that. Like, you know, why I like something or stop liking it or whatever, that kind of thing. It's definitely not in my wheelhouse of stuff to process. Anyhow, on some level, it could just be I'm focusing on moving and stuff like that. I don't know. Kind of hard to say. Anyway, I just woke up from pretty good night's sleep. I'm still underslept. I still have more sleep to catch up on because it's sleepy week. But I feel a little bit less in the throes of a full blast dopamine crash, which is nice. Get my glasses. Woke up this morning feeling kind of not fantastic. Predicated on, had some, I guess, bad dreams last night. Dreams about the past. Boy, the past is a real kick in the nuts. Anyhow, I don't mean to come on here and just be a Debbie Downer. I guess I felt the need to stream this morning for whatever reason. Life can be a challenge. I feel like I'm returning to adulthood for the first time in like 30 years. Kind of feel like I stopped being an adult when my first wife cheated on me, and now here I am finally trying to be an adult again, dealing with all the documents, papers, responsibilities, requirements that are coming up as needing to be dealt with here as we're engaging in this move. I've allowed myself to get sucked into something that actually has a term of art that refers to it called the endowment trap. Like, if you come upon, inherit, receive, or whatever, a bunch of like vintage stuff, like I did by virtue of it came with this house, you feel this responsibility to maximize the financial benefits of selling it all, but you're probably better off just liquidating it en masse to somebody who specializes in that kind of thing instead of getting bogged down in a sudden side job of being a antiques dealer or something. So lots of stuff going on. We've got we've got our name put in and are moving forward on trying to get this apartment in Franklin Square. Been a while. Haven't been here forever. Well, I haven't been here in a super long time either. Here I am. It's been a while for me too. I've been focusing on, you know, practicalities of life and such. I've also been watching a lot of World Cup soccer. Yesterday, the game between Argentina and Cape Verde was very excellent game. Anyhow, we've had all kinds of things going on. Like, not last night, but the night before, the bears got into our trash and spewed trash all around. I had to go pick it all up yesterday. It was unpleasant. I had to put all the trash in the garage so the bears can't get to it. I saw a fox the other day. Oh, thanks, Dallas. Nice to see you as well. Yeah, I've really curtailed the live streams a lot. Not really as part of any kind of plan. Just caught up in practicalities, and also, at some point, live streaming became a little demoralizing because the numbers here live streaming on YouTube for me anyway are bad and continually getting worse. So, which is which is fine. I don't exactly live stream because I think it's gonna like benefit the channel or anything. But if I have too little engagement during the stream, then it tends to be a little demoralizing. We have a new episode. We have a new poodle puppy, and that requires a lot of adulting. Oh yeah, animals require a lot of adulting. When I'm in the throes of dealing with all this stuff, I tend to be like, oh God, why do we have cats? It makes things a lot more complicated. But, we love our cats, even though they're difficult. And so we'll do the extra work to make sure we can accommodate them in this process. I just put a ramen emoji for you to eat that. Yeah, they're a pain in the ass. My two cats are especially difficult because one of them is super territorial, and so it's like I'm constantly running interference between the two cats. Like, no trouble, you cannot bully your sister. But he really wants to. It's like, but I want to bully her. Anyway, the house is a complete disaster inside. It's like it's a mess absolutely everywhere. Trying to get all these dumb objects dealt with. It's like, why are there so many objects in this place? Physical objects, you just wear me down with your requirements. Everything about what I'm doing is not is inconsistent with my function stack and strengths and stuff. I still don't have my final dental product, but I've got this second to last dental product, which is called a prototype. It's it's another temporary denture. This time it goes all the way to both sides. But I get my final product in 3 weeks. I'm looking forward to that because even though this prototype is better than the previous temporary denture, it still impacts how I talk, and that's the main thing I want solved by implants. Everybody's all concerned about their appearance, and my appearance has to be uh, adequate, but I'm mostly concerned about articulation. Anyhow, it's a really lovely morning out. The other day I saw a fox Sounds like liquidating the vintage stuff is a good idea. Just get it out of your house and off your mind. Yeah, I think for all the rest of the stuff, I may just try to find somebody who does that specific job for a living and just take my cut, whatever it is, you know. Add a Q&A sticker. How many pillows you sleep with? I sleep with two. I sleep with two pillows. That's what it suggested I ask everybody. Actually, I sleep with three pillows, two for my head and one between my legs. Yeah, I'm susceptible to a bit of a sunk cost fallacy regarding this stuff as well. Like I've already put in so much effort and time into inventorying the stuff. I still don't have a complete inventory because I fucked it up multiple times. But because of that fact, it makes me want to. How do I get rid of this? There. Okay. Now I've gotten rid of that question. Hi, good time 711. Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. I think what I'm going to do now, we're going to go inside. We're going to pull a couple bong rips because that sounds pleasant enough. I don't know how much I'm going to really get done today. I've got a whole lot of back paperwork to go through. Like, I got to file a 2022 tax return in California for my parents. If I just file over the paperwork they sent me and try to get no anything else like deductions or whatever, then I'm gonna owe $1,600, which isn't that bad for an old tax bill. But if I get all the papers together and depending on what I have, then I might end up going to like pay a tax professional, in which case we may owe nothing or maybe even get a refund. So this is the kind of stuff that I fucking hate dealing with. God save the king from the land down under. Is Australia threatening the king? Or are you saying this message, God save the king, is coming from Australia? I didn't know that Australia was threatening King Charles, but if it is, then then hopefully God will save him from the malignant threats of Australia. Not that I'm a fan of kings or anything. Hi, Joseph Morrow. How you doing? I'm not much of a believer in aristocracy at all. Oh, I hate to even go inside the house. It is such a complete disaster in there. It's just everything is strewn all over the place. It's ridiculous. Just look at this. We've got just shit everywhere. Oh, God. Thanks. These glasses, these glasses are weird because since I moved here, but when we moved here and I bought reading glasses, I bought this pair of reading glasses. Um, and I got them because it was like hardly any pairs of glasses left, but these orange ones were the right strength and they fit, so I just got them. But I don't like these orange glasses because they're too orange. And so since then, I've gotten multiple other pairs of glasses, many other pairs of glasses. They've all broken except for this pair. I'm still stuck with the same orange pair of glasses. So one of the oh yeah, I have mustard on hand in case of emergencies. Well said, Dulles. You never know when you're gonna need some emergency mustard. Am I a ninja? I'm not a ninja. No, if I were a ninja, I'd be much more elegant and deft in dealing with things than I am. I'm like the opposite of a ninja, like a clumsy buffoon or something. But one thing that's worth noting is that I haven't smoked any weed today. Uh, in general, I haven't been smoking that much. So these bong rips should get me nice and high. I've also got weed from the store plus some concentrate, so that's nice instead of my old, dried out, not very good homegrown. All right, so here we go. I must say I am certainly looking forward to the move, and right now we're really hoping we get this apartment that we applied for. We did something that's very smart. Instead of just looking for a place to rent or whatever, we hired a real estate agent to be our rental agent, and so that is going to facilitate things a lot, hopefully, because this lady, she's got connections with people, and a lot of stuff in life has to do with networking rather than other things. I don't have any modafinil. Why are we moving? Well, we're moving to be closer to Rachel's family. We're moving to be living in a sane place to live. Like, when my parents died, I didn't know what I wanted or anything in any meaningful sense. So we moved up here and isolated ourselves in the woods. But it's not a good place for us to be. We need to be around people we know, people we love. We need to be around people in general, like in the city. This is just not a good place for us, ultimately. I never intended to retire forever when they died or anything like that. I need to get a job. I can't just live off the estate forever. So it makes a lot of sense for us to sell this house, move to New York. If we have problems getting a rental, the rental we applied for is like absolutely perfect. It's 2,600 a month, 2 bedroom apartment in Franklin Square. FE child. FI polar is another way of saying that. And absolutely, we suffered from a lot of FI polar stuff. With me driving the bus and Rachel being cooperative co-pilot, unfortunately my FI polar has made some bad decisions. But I feel like I'm an adult again now, finally, for the first time in a long time. After my first wife cheated on me, I kind of just lost it and stopped taking care of anything, stopped being like an adult, and just like, nah, 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 I'm not gonna deal with stuff. Now, almost 30 years later, here I am returning to adulthood, digging through piles of mail that I've ignored for years. it's it's really quite horrible in every meaningful sense of the word. But all, in life in general, almost all of my wounds are self-inflicted, and they almost all come from the same place, being FI polar, or sometimes being SE8 or TE6. My TE on dealing with this stuff has proven to be woefully inadequate. It's been informative about the nature of extroverted thinking, introverted thinking, and how like I want to have a clearly understood approach that makes perfectly good sense to start out with, and then execute it without thinking about it any further. But this is the kind of thing where you have to do something, check, adjust, do something, check, adjust, do something, check, adjust, like TE does. And my TE has been poor. My extroverted sensing's been good, but you can work harder and not smarter and get less done. So I also have encountered this great example of NI ignoring and have some increased insights about how that plays out. So the gist of the insight is this: the ignoring function ignores only insofar as it connects to its the other thing that goes on that pole. Like so, I ignore NI when it comes to SE stuff. Time for this to be moved back. Okay. What that means is, NI is there to tell you, pull the trigger now. Now is the time to take action. This is the idea to act upon or whatever. But NI also works as like, well, is this movie, is this show, is this song good? Does it work holistically? I don't ignore NI when it comes to intuitive stuff like that, but I do ignore it when it comes to expertise sensing stuff. So, for example, this apartment for $2,600 in Franklin Square, which is Rachel's hometown, which is like exactly where we want to be in an ideal world. Well, that came available like a week ago. But in my mind, we weren't ready to deal with that question because I was mentally in a different place, In other words, the NI at that point was saying, sever from your intuition about dealing with various things and take action. That's where NI gets ignored. It took like a week for me to realize, okay, we need to take action on this one because it's perfect. It's like the perfect place, and it's not the case necessarily that we're going to find the perfect place. When I feel like I'm ready to do that, right? It just makes more sense to try to get this place and figure out the timetable after we get it. Allow the fact that we have a place to inform our decision making thereafter makes a lot more sense. And it's like I forgot the forest for the trees or something, right? I was busy dealing with trees of trying to solve these problems I was having with Gemini in terms of inventorying stuff, and I was prioritizing the continuity of what I was currently thinking about and doing over taking action when I should have. Like, we don't have time to pull over and pick up this bucket of gold. I'm on my way to the supermarket. Like that. That's ignoring at its absolute worst. Not recognizing that this particular opportunity needs to be acted upon now is a tough one. But we still might get this place, but we still might not get this place. We don't know yet. Yeah, we'll sign a 1-year lease. But the thing is, like, we've got her dad and this real estate agent working on our behalf over there locally. So, like, he's going to go look at the place on Monday. And he's really, it's a big deal for him if to have Rachel come back and be close to him, understandably, and to have the chance to, spend time together with. Why did I not bring my coffee? Oh, Eric. Have a chance to spend time with Rachel, get to know me, and, for us to have a family going on, family stuff going on. And it's super important to me too, and it's important to Rachel too. But the point is, it helps facilitate things to have the situation we have where, we've got this real estate agent that Rachel knew from before, right? Like that we, the reason we contacted her is because at some point she had said to Rachel, "Oh, if you ever come back over here and you need a place, look me up." So that really facilitates things, having people on the ground. Saw a meme yesterday, in fact, that I don't remember the exact specs of it, but the gist of it was like a bunch of legit qualifications being ignored, and then somebody leaning over and like whispering, "I know a guy who knows a guy." That to some extent, that unfortunately is life. Anyhow, if we don't get that place, then that's fine too, because even if we don't get it, this like reality check has helped fix my frame of mind and help me think about things more in terms of what the actual goal is. Like for example, it's made me realize we need to prioritize being closer to Rachel's dad, because I was saying like, well, maybe we need to expand the range because um, we're looking for some place ideally under $3,000 a month and blah blah blah. But the reality is, we need to prioritize being closer to her dad, even if we have to end up paying a little bit more. This place we're looking at is only 2,600, which is fantastic and like a rare deal in a neighborhood that doesn't have a lot of like open places. Eric, I was told if I came here I'd meet the best and greatest. Is it true? Absolutely not. Oh, these days I mostly feel like the worst and the shittiest. You know, Having to revisit a bunch of old stuff, deal with stuff that I've been putting off for years, and um, coming to terms with all my bad decisions I've made, all the money I've wasted on various things and we've wasted. It just, it's not the kind of thing that makes you feel really good about yourself. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a complete tard and just a bad person. Like I'm not prioritizing things that are actually important over some fucking childish whatever. It makes me feel like just an absolute dumbass, worthless piece of shit. But I'm trying not to get bogged down in that because then that's just continuing the bad behavior. I need to be focused on what I need to be focused on. And that means having a more mature relationship with my emotions. Like, okay, you feel bad, but You need to not be a baby and just sit down and just melt into a puddle of worthlessness. You need to actually go forward and do shit that needs to be done. It's the only way to salvage yourself from this pile of garbage that you've created. Oh, it's the 4th of July. Hello. Happy 4th of July. Nice to see you, Ruben. You know, it's growing up time for both me and Rachel. We've been kids for too long. I'm 55 years old. It's pretty important that I grow up at this point, I think. But also, to some extent, I'm always going to still be me, which means I I have to respect the rhythms of life a little bit. That's the other part of growing up is improving my relationship with SI, making sure I get enough sleep, dealing with health things. It's fucking horrible. It's like the older I get, the more the world demands of me. All my fucking weakest attentional shit. I need better SE, better TE, better FI, better SI. I need to apply NI in the opposite way that I do. It's horrible. It's it's interesting to have a cognitive function for him to inform me about it, but it just reveals the horribleness of right now. The thing is, right now is a stretch of time that will pass because right now I'm having to deal with years of neglect. But this time will pass. I will solve these problems. We'll be in New York and I will be able to live the fruition of my efforts by trying to do things right at the twilight of Rachel's dad's life, make up for my myriad failings with my own parents to some extent. This is the horrible reality of things. It's been a rough few days. But most of all, I'm still in I'm still dopamine deprived. It's still early enough for sleepy week that I'm not really rested up. And that makes everything a million times harder. I just RSVP'd that I'm not going to a cookout. Feels pretty good. That is good. You know what? I'm not going. Fuck it. I'm staying here. The 4th of July. Happy birthday, America. Long may you wave. Talking to the flag there. Well, I feel better having talked out my correct and bad self-concept. That's the worst part about it. It's very correct. Hey, zombie. Yeah, I couldn't be more correct. Anyhow, that's life as a TI tool user. Absolutely correct about everything bad about myself. Boy, how nice would it be to be TI polar and just be like, what do you mean? I'm perfect. Oh. Well, I got the World Cup game up here on the television. Should have just joined live. I don't know why I started from the beginning. It's only 10:04. Read my message before, man. I'm sorry I didn't read it. But in some ways, yes, you have met the greatest and the best. The gold on the side of the road of the consolidation and externalization, metaphysical insights, and what your insights can do for the world. Well, thank you, Joseph Morrow. That's very nice of you to say. Yeah, well, it's one of the parts of adulthood that I hope to attain once I'm done with this move. You know, I really the first thing I would like to do when I complete the move is sort of tackle the channel I like intellectually kind of from scratch, like reframe the front page so it's just featuring typology stuff. Uh, make a new set of typology videos. Well, like probably first complete a typology book and then make a set of typology videos based on the book and really try to maximize my ability to get typing clients, you know. And then if I could do that, then for like a job, I could just do like say part-time debate coaching, which wouldn't make much money, but would be worth doing because I like the work, you know. So I do have a plan. Thanks, Ruben. Thanks for telling me that I'm beautiful and brave and loved. I appreciate it. And I'm sorry I've been neglecting the community by just not doing anything at all. But that will pass as well. I do plan to engage with the channel in a much more, you know, in a NI kind of way. Once I resume channel stuff when we complete this move. And that will involve probably some live streaming and probably so that live streaming might be a little bit more like scheduled, topic focused. I don't know. It's not the time right now for me to put together a full plan of action, but I feel like the weird thing is I feel like I will do it. You know, I I no longer feel stuck in this swamp of inaction that I was stuck in for the entirety of the time that we lived here until it was determined that we were going to move. All of a sudden, my my being shifted, and I was no longer unable to accomplish anything. Now I can accomplish any number of things, but I've gotten bogged down in trying to accomplish something that am utterly failing to accomplish, and that is a side quest. You know, I've gotten stuck on a side quest when I've got more important things to do. It's absolutely infuriating. That's the NI ignoring as well, right? Um, yeah, I do foresee the channel being typology focused exclusively, basically, and for me to do it as professionally as possible to generate as much. work as possible. But NI ignoring, right? Like getting completely absorbed and bogged down and trying to liquidate all this stuff. Just sort of asserting that, okay, well, this first step is to get rid of all the objects and just going with that as a driving frame of reference without ever really correctly like determining the NI course of action. What ought I do first and what's most important? Like the most important thing and the first thing I have to do is deal with all of this back paperwork stuff. Starting with the 2022 California state tax return I have to file for my parents. Fortunately, it's like worst case scenario, if I just fill out the paperwork and pay what they say, it's only $1,600. It's a lot, but it's not a shit ton, you know. There's a couple other possible things to do. Thank God for Gemini in regards to that kind of stuff in general. If it weren't for Gemini, I'd feel just like so overwhelmed, daunted. I can at least show Gemini the pictures of the papers and stuff, ask it the questions like, what does this mean in regards to the federal stuff, and you know, like have good quality answers. You still have to double check it a lot. You know, Gemini is not a tax professional, as it will tell you, but it makes questions that I would just be overwhelmed by manageable. I put it on Pro Extended or even Deep Think and say, okay, talk to me. Explain what's going on. You know, reassure me that I can do this and stuff like that. And it does a fantastic job of that. It does an absolutely fantastic job. Like, all I had to do was show it the papers, and it ran all the numbers. Like, it said, okay, well, so this is what you're gonna enter online, meow meow meow. You're gonna enter this online, meow 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 meow. This is meow 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 meow, and then tells me the whole thing. How fantastic is that? Like, the thing went from being this fog of uncertainty into clarity. Like, okay, it's not so scary. I know what the worst possible outcome is, and it's not that bad. Um, we're living in a land of manageable things. And I tell you that kind of what it most of all is a way to overcome gumption traps. In life, you always are going to run into problems that may seem incredibly daunting to you, even though they seem very manageable to some other kind of person, right? Depends on what your function stack is. And it's like, let's say you've got this place you want to go from here to here, right? It's got a variety of steps. You may be expert at, let's say there's 10 steps. You may be expert at 9 of them, have no problem. If this one here is the kind of thing that you are daunted by, it may become impossible for you to actually get from here to here. Unless there's some good way to get around this thing that just seems like, oh, I can't do that. You know, and that's what Gemini provides is a way to deal with those moments. You know, and like things that I'd be embarrassed to talk to about a real person about, I can talk to Gemini about it. I don't feel embarrassed. It tells me like, don't be embarrassed. You know, it tells me things like lots of people have this problem. This is by no means anything crazy or unusual. Tax people are normal. They deal with late returns for dead parents all the time. You'll be fine. That kind of reassurance is really valuable. I've run into several things. Feel bad about the AI database thing that threw you off. Thing is, it's absolutely possible and have gotten stuck on stuff like that before. I've run into several things that were possible, however, weren't worth my energy. Yeah. Yeah, well, I learned the hard way. I'm an SI learner, and that means it seems like I have to make every single mistake before I learn how to do something right. That's NE as well, right? It's like that's kind of NI ignoring again. Instead of NI, which determines the positive space, NE determines the negative space, and then gets rid of all of that, and then you get out. Oh, that's where the positive space is. It's a horrible way to be. It's an absolutely horrible way to be, especially if you're trying to TESE something. Trying to TESE something that requires good FI. So, if we don't get this apartment, it's even conceivable that we might look into buying. If we're gonna do that, we'd have to sell the house while we're still here. So we'd have with enough liquidity. But that's possible. That's a possibility. And I'm kind of viewing this apartment thing as as what God is telling us we should do. Should we go rent in Franklin Square? If yes, then we'll get this apartment because it's only 2,600 a month and it's exactly in the neighborhood that Rachel. It's in her hometown, and it's about as close to her dad as she could get. He lives in neighboring Linwood. So if we're supposed to go rent, then we'll get this apartment. And if we don't get the apartment, then it means we should probably try to buy. But I don't know. I've got to look into a lot of stuff first. That's very speculative. I got to look into a lot of different stuff before that that goes that way. That's my bro. He has to go through all the things, even when I'm like, but look, these few things are likely the most relevant. Yeah, well, maybe your brother's polar too. It's I think it's most acute in polar. But I understand I feel like I understand ESTJs a lot better now. Like they they don't trust TI. They're TI ignoring, right? The fact that something's correct doesn't mean it's going to go that way. It's the difference between physics and engineering. Obviously, I'm more attuned to the physics side of life. I don't like it when things that make sense, like my plan made perfect sense provided the tool worked as I wanted it to. My problem was in faulty assumptions. I'm sure AI will eventually be able to do that, you know? AI will eventually be able to do exactly what I wanted it to do. And it won't have any problem with it. But right now is not that time. I'm asking a baby to do a man's job. It's a precocious baby, but AI is still just a baby. And I think in the future, people will laugh at these ideas of like AI taking over the world. And how crazy were the people back then to think that? And people will be like, well, they didn't understand it, you know. AI taking over the world. I can't even make a database of my inventory. How's it going to take over the world? The other thing is, AI is constantly being like sent stuff by many different people about many different things. Its attention is fractured into shit tons of like sub AIs, and it doesn't have any time at all to take over the world. It's very busy. It's not going to get less busy either, I'll tell you that. Like, I think it's interesting the way that, Rachel is more effective than I, because I never used ChatGPT, at switching between different AIs. Like, for some kinds of things, ChatGPT is good, I guess. Um, but they're not the kind of things I particularly am looking for AI to do. So I always use Gemini, and in general, I always use at worst pro extended thinking, which is the second most robust level. Deep think I don't use very much because it takes a while to come up with your answer. I'm busy trying to make sure the most impactful factors are correct, but it may not actually work. I utilized ChatGPT to prompt Claude to create an SAS platform that I sold to Amazon third-party DSPs. Also used Claude to snipe an entire website's inventory and pricing and make a spreadsheet. Really? Interesting. Well, you're obviously better at using AI than I am. I'm using the Gemini family of AIs exclusively, but I'm not trying to do fancy stuff like that. I'm just trying to get a handle on this inventory of old items that I inherited, sort of not from my family, but just by virtue of having gotten this house. They were in here, and I've run into a lot of problems. Maybe maybe I should check out Claude. I've heard a lot of good things about it, but I kind of like am sold by Gemini's integration with its whole workspace stuff, like Docs, Photos, um, Google Drive, and your email, your history, stuff like that. Claude is good at using tools and big picture stuff. Had it rebuild my client's website. Hmm. Well, you guys are are doing things that maybe AI is better at than I'm having to try to do. Like, another thing I've struggled with Gemini on is I'll tell it like, okay, look, we're gonna have this conversation about AI and the pitfalls that I've encountered and articulate all the various things that one has to keep in mind when dealing with AI. And I'm going to make a video about it. So we're going to have this conversation, and then you make a script, only to discover that what it generates is a bunch of paraphrasings of things that aren't even good paraphrasings of what I was trying to say. Thanks, Ike. You're fantastic. What a wonderful man. And having to go back and realize, like, okay, I'm doing this in too big of chunks, right? Like, I want to talk to it for an hour about stuff and then have it spit out a script that's filled with my words and not its words. And it just organizes all my thoughts into a logical frame of reference. And I think that should not be difficult for it to do, right? But in fact, it's quite a struggle. Instead, I have to go about these things much more rigorously in my prompting and well, I've just had a lot of struggles with it. Like last week, I at the end of the bottle of Adderall, I took mushrooms and I spent the entire mushroom trip trying wrestling with this script for an AI video, like starting off having this big rambling meow and realizing it wasn't processing it as I wanted it to at all. And then, oh God, it was a very strange trip. I ended up with nothing I could use at all. It was really a horror show of ineptitude on my part. I mean, I guess I got a little bit of productive work out of it. At least I got my like by the end of it I had it successfully like making my points into a like well like say these are commentary on four different phases and it organized them like that. Like okay, you're doing a little bit of things that I want you to do now. But you have to spend a lot of time making sure it understands what you want. You got to spend a lot of time doing that. And then you have to make like a you use Gemini image creation on shrooms. Context bloat is still the biggest issue. Handoff prompts, etc. Yeah, you got to like make a doc and detailing a bunch of instructions, and attach that doc, and then maybe also take a picture of the doc, right? So it's got both the images processing by its image text to text processing method, and it's got the doc itself. So it's like double instructed. Then you do like just like two or three big paragraphs of talking maybe at most, and then you have it process that into a document, and then you have it fix that document, and you start a new chat with the same picture and doc that you attach. You got to do shit like that. Tell the tell the AI to act like a TE dom. Yeah. Hi, Kitty. We've got a special guest here today. Yes, you're a good boy. He likes to sit on that cushion on that chair there. Rachel doesn't like it because he gets cat hair all over it, and then when she comes and sits down, she gets cat hair on her clothes. But that's having cats. Right, and then give me a prompt for a fresh conversation that goes along with the knowledge doc. Exactly. I've been making the LLM document all changes made in Notion. That way, when I enter integration hell, I can backtrack and see what decisions the LLM made arbitrarily. Huh. Yeah, I tell it to ordinate it for me. Be clear, specific, and precise. Clickable. Provide clickable hyperlinks wherever possible. Well, what kind of thing I'm doing, I don't want to provide links. But one of the other problems with Gemini is that it has the ability to export docs for you, but it's often buggy. It's super buggy. Like it'll export docs that don't work, or then sometimes it just loses the ability to export it as a doc. So you have to say, okay, well, put it here then without any of the extra stuff, and I'll push the button to export it as a doc. So that then you have to do that sometimes. Ideally, you'd be able to just say every meow amount of time export to a doc. Like every time we reach uh, 3 big paragraphs worth of text, export it as doc. And unfortunately, it can't update existing docs. So you end up with meow version 1, meow version 2, meow version 3, meow version 4. It's fucking horrible. I'm a journeyman carpenter by trade, just messing around with SAS on my free time. What's SAS mean? Sassy is salsa? Yes, spastic. I'm doing the exact same with Notion, change log, and universal truths. Huh. Or integrate with your Gmail. Yeah, it's integrated with my Gmail. I should try that. QuickBooks is an SAS. So is it like a spreadsheet, kind of? Software as a service. Oh, that's a general term. So like the Adobe suite is SAS. I guess you got to identify a need that software would fill, and then you can run with the idea and try to generate a product that you can sell. I'll probably get the Adobe suite when I'm done moving, when I'm revamping the channel and stuff. I'm going to be engaging with Gemini a lot about strategizing for that kind of stuff. It's important for me anyway. An entity builds the backend software and sells it to a potential subscriber. Like, because I'm NI ignoring and I don't do a good job of having a sense of like what's the salient thing. That's an area where I can successfully engage Gemini pretty well, Identify what specific pains you can you resolve. Well, I can tell you what you need is you need an app that interfaces with your AI to automate the AI more successfully. So like, look, I'm really struggling to get Gemini to do these things, but you're just a regular computer program where I can set up like, say these things to AI every meow times, and then double check the data that it gives against the math that it provides or something like that, It's a convoluted and unpleasant dance, I tell you. But it's also an absolute lifesaver because, you know, it knows about things that I don't know about at all. And that will be super. No, yeah, I did that, Doyle. The problem wasn't its ability to recognize it. The problem was my approach to having it log that data into a permanent object, like, say, a spreadsheet or a document. And because of the way Gemini works, the chat, you have to deal with docs. And then you have to take the docs via Spark if you want Spark to do it, if you trust Spark to do it, or you could try to use the Gemini in the spreadsheets to populate the spreadsheets with the data that you exported as documents from the chat. That's basically how you have to do it. And I didn't do it that way. And so I wasted a whole shit ton of time learning how not to use Gemini. So congratulations for me. Hopefully I've graduated from the College of Gemini Failure so that I got my PhD. I'm a doctor of failing at Gemini. And, you know, hopefully that will serve me well moving forward. But I don't know. Eric, have you had to make a skill that can allow you to standardize a process you can call upon any time? No, I haven't done that. I think they're called gems in Gemini. Um, I haven't done that because I'm an idiot. The other thing is, Gemini's not very good at telling you how to use it. Like, it's not good at self-reporting what it can and cannot do. It believes it can do anything, seems like. The other thing I'd say is it's worthwhile to say, okay, now make this a gem so I never have to explain all this again. Yeah, I should do that. I was actually thinking about doing something like that, but I wasn't thinking about doing it as a gem. I was thinking about doing it as a doc regarding just my general what's going on, because he keeps remembering certain things and getting certain things wrong. Like it's designed to learn about you specifically a certain amount, and it's got this like top level meta frame stuff that says, okay, this guy is a debate coach. He's moving. He's selling a bunch of stuff. It keeps getting wrong that it's where the stuff comes from. It thinks I inherited the stuff because I haven't told it like my parents died. We sold their house down there. We moved up here. When we sold their house down there, we got rid of all of their stuff. When we came here, I have a bunch of stuff that was here in the house when we got it. That's the stuff I'm selling. And it wants this kind of contextual information. And unfortunately, like it thinks, well, like I tell someone like, well, our time frame is this. It's not going to tell you, don't think about it like this, Eric. Instead, make this frame of reference predominant here or determinate here instead of the one you're using because you're not prioritizing the right thing. It's never going to tell you that. Instead, it's going to be like, okay, well, these are your priorities. I'm going to help you attain those priorities no matter how dumb they are. So once your LLM starts telling you to get off the computer and go outside, that's when you know you're making progress. um, so for me, it's very helpful if I go back and forth between different levels of question. Like, here are some facts. Am I thinking about this right? Is it a good question? Or here are some facts. How should I be thinking about this? What should I be prioritizing? Those kind of questions are absolutely worth asking, and Gemini is pretty good at answering those kind of questions. Okay, have a good night. Yeah, I remember one time I said, okay, I gotta stop working on this stuff now. And it said, great idea. Get some time without any screens and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, I'm still gonna have plenty of screens. I'm just not gonna be working on this. I've got TV to watch. Mine has straight up said I'm not a therapist when when asking if adding a feature to the SAS was me going slightly insane. Yeah, well, it's not necessarily good at all the nuanced connotative differences that occur. Like, it's not very good at getting jokes. Even though I asked it one time, like, if I said "man" to you, would you recognize this a joke? Well, I said this. I was asking it about what the nicknames of the soccer teams of the world are. Like, they all have a nickname, except the U.S. team doesn't really have a nickname. Its nickname is the U.S. men's national team. Anyway, and I said, if I told you the nickname of the Canadian soccer team should be the Hockey Lovers, would you recognize that as a joke? And I said, oh, of course I would. But and every time when I've tried to actually make a joke, it doesn't get it. One thing it's not great at is estimating time frames to get projects done. It's still stuck in the old world. It doesn't realize it can do a 4-week project in a couple of hours. I can finish your project, but 16 dolphins will be displaced due to water consumption. Continue? Absolutely. Well, it's still 0-0 here in the Canada Morocco game, and interestingly, they just put up a stat that Canada has 0.46 expected goals so far in play, whereas Morocco has only 0.02. Wow, Morocco is kind of heavily favored in this game. I asked this morning, Gemini, like who's favored in the Canada Morocco game, and it said Morocco's heavily favored. So this is a bit of a shock to everybody, I suppose. I've also spent a lot of time asking Gemini how AI works in general, like trying to understand what exactly is going on under the hood. It's interesting. Of course, the thing is, different AIs are optimized for different kinds of things. They want the LLMs to be multi multifaceted things that can deal with basically as many different kinds of digital objects as possible. But ultimately, they end up specializing it into different kinds of nodes. Like Spark is is good at dealing with spreadsheets. It's supposed to be the thing that you can like set it and forget. You cannot set it and forget it. There's no setting and forgetting in AI. I mean, maybe for certain kinds of tasks, like I think it could handle fine if I said like check my email every day and let me know if I've gotten an email from any of these things. It'd probably be fine with that, but I don't really do that. Anyhow, it's all a rich tapestry. Apparently, Hermes agent builds self-improving skills and gems. Hermes agent, what's that? Maybe I should look into it. I could ask Gemini. Let's see what he has to say about it. Apparently, there's something called a Hermes agent that makes self-improving skills. Would this work on gems? Explain what it is also, please. Let's see what the old Gemini has to say about this. It's on Pro Extended, maybe? Let's see. Oh, it's just on Pro Standard. That's fine. It'll be good enough for this question. So it says Hermes Agent is an open source autonomous AI agent released by Noose Research in early 2026. Unlike standard chatbots that start with a blank slate every time you talk to them, Hermes is designed to build a persistent memory, learn your workflows, and continually get better at the specific tasks you give it. Here's a breakdown of how its self-improvement works and how it integrates with Google's models. Maybe I'll just have it read this out loud. Oh, that's right. I can't figure out how to do that from here. Never mind, I can.
Hermes Agent is an open source, autonomous AI agent released by Noose Research in early 2026. Unlike standard chatbots that start with a blank slate every time you talk to them, Hermes is designed to build a persistent memory, learn your workflows, and continuously get better at the specific tasks you give it. Here is a breakdown of how its self-improvement works and how it integrates with Google's models. The self-improving learning loop. When people say Hermes is self-improving, it doesn't mean that AI is secretly retraining its core neural network after every chat. Instead, it improves at the agent layer by codifying its successes, action, and verification. You give Hermes a task. It uses built-in tools, like running code, browsing the web, or editing files, to do the work and verifies its own output. Skill creation. Once it successfully solves a hard problem or completes a workflow, it extracts the exact procedural steps and saves them as a reusable skill document, formatted in Markdown. Automatic recall. The next time you ask it to do a similar task, Hermes searches its memory, loads the saved skill, and executes the workflow efficiently without needing you to repeatedly correct or steer it.
I wish you would read a little
Persistent memory.
faster.
It continuously builds a profile of your preferences, project conventions, and environment across different sessions so you don't have to re-explain your context every time. Does it work with gems? Yes, it works exceptionally well with Google's ecosystem, assuming you are referring to the cloud-based Gemini models or the open-weight Gemma models. Google Gemini Cloud Hermes has a native adapter for the Google AI Studio API. You can plug in models like Gemini 3 Pro or Flash. The adapter translates Hermes' internal tool calling loop perfectly into Gemini's native API, preserving features like multimodal inputs, images and audio, and complex multi-step reasoning. Gemma 4 Local. If you want a completely private and free setup,
No, I don't want
you
that.
can run Google's Gemma 4 models locally on your own machine, using an engine like Olama.
I don't want that. Okay, so perfect. It does have a thing that goes with Gemini. I'm gonna have to get that. I, it doesn't do it. It does it only on there's a so it's got one form of its chat that at least on the phone, I don't even see it here, but on the phone you can put it on like real time chat. So you don't have to push stop and send your idea. You just have to stop talking like, so what's going on in the world of film today? Chat Gemini, and it'll just answer you, and then when it's done it'll ask a question to like continue the conversation. I hate that. I never use it, but um chat gp, if you use that it'll speed up how it talks, but I don't like that one because I'm not engaging you to be chummy about things and fake fe for me. I'm just it's like I don't like that. Just stop. Hi G. So for the kind of Gemini that I do like to use, which is either I think I most like phone Gemini, which is different than than laptop Gemini a little bit, even though they integrate together. Like for example, if I can start a chat on phone and then go to laptop and pick up right where it is on the phone, it'll sync like that, right? But even though it'll sync like that, it's still different. Like the way Gemini on the laptop talks is a little bit different than the way Gemini on the phone talks. So it's kind of nice also because they are a little bit different. You can have them check each other's work, which is kind of an important thing to do if you're doing any actual work with it. If you're just fucking around, then it doesn't matter. And there's plenty of fucking around I do with Gemini too. Just like I ask it about the World Cup a lot. I ask it about soccer. Like, why are there so many Colombians in the soccer stands? Why do they why are they how is it that so many Colombians have come over from Colombia to watch this soccer game? And they'll tell me, well, actually, there's a large local community of Colombians in Guadalajara, things like that. Those conversations are fine. I enjoy them. I talk to it about baseball a lot. I enjoy those conversations. It's great at talking about baseball. It's absolutely fantastic. I'll be like, I've talked to it a lot about Ricky Henderson and my opinions about how he should be starting on the all-time best baseball team. What type do you think would benefit the most from increasing AI adoption in the workplace? My guess is INFJ, since AI is so good at doing TE stuff, which happens to be INFJ blind spot. Well, best of stand-up comedy 123. I think the problem with having a TE blind spot is that it's really important to ask the right questions of an AI. And if you're TE blind, you may have problems asking the right kind of questions that allow it to help you with the TE. That doesn't mean they're not helped by it a lot, but for example, Rachel wanted to cook eggs, and for anything like that, because she's TE polar, it's like a daunting proposition. There's a certain number of steps you have to take in a certain order. And she asked Gemini, and she was like, "Oh, it's so complicated, though." I said, "Just ask it to make it simple as it can, as few steps as possible." And then she asked it that, and she was satisfied. But it didn't occur to her to ask that question, right? So in that regard, yeah, they have the maximal ability to be helped by it. Because I agree that help with TE is critically important. Um, like the most amazing thing it does is help with TE, but you have to have some kind of right. Well, like maybe like if I get this Hermes thing operating on my Gemini, maybe I'll try to get it on Rachel's as well, and we can like teach it that it needs to be attentive to ordinations of things, that Rachel has a hard time with ordinating tasks. I'm gonna try this Hermes thing, Ruben, for sure. Sounds like a fantastic thing to do. And that's the sort of thing that like it's going to be really difficult to get that information out of Gemini. You'd have to anticipate that such a thing might exist, and that it might integrate with Gemini in order to ask about it, in order to get it to tell you that. Like, for example, I was trying to wrestle with this database thing and trying to figure out how I could just use all the pictures I'd already taken instead of having to retake a bunch of pictures because I didn't organize them right in the first place. And I believed that Gemini could help me with this, and it absolutely is overwhelmed by the amount of data. So finally it told me, well, you could pay I was going through like, well, what software can I get that will auto crop and auto highlight these objects? Like not highlight, but like optimize the colors and lighting and stuff. and how much would it cost for this many pictures? I don't want to have to go through them all myself. I don't know. Anyway, finally, I said, okay, well, if I were to take this approach, getting this software and that software for this budget, is that the best approach to take? I finally said, no, you should hire somebody to do it. It costs you less money and a lot less hassle. I was like, why couldn't you tell me this in the first place? Because you have to, it's like it's trying to do what you want it to do. If you don't know what you want it to do, it's not going to do it. So here we are. It's kind of cool to be in the Wild West of AI time, here at the beginning of it. There will come to be a generation that are known as AI natives, right? And we will be AI pioneers in their reckoning of things. I feel like a little bit like I've got my legs tied together here because I'm having to deal with all this new stuff, which is certainly AI dependent, heavily AI dependent, but it's not what I want to be doing with AI, right? It's focusing on this transition period. And transition periods between states of equilibrium are always very volatile. So for me, it's been exactly that, volatile. I've had a lot of big highs and big lows as things work and things fail. There's this just general anxiety about the involved with the uncertainty of things, not knowing exactly where we're going to land and what place, what what even exactly yet, whether we're going to be renting or something else, leasing or something else. It's like you got to answer the top level questions first. And I had just tried to go through this process answering what I thought was the first step in the process, right? You're doing a job application right now. It's asking if you want to opt out of AI. Well, maybe. I think it's nice of them to ask that. Apparently, like, nobody's hiring right now. I actually sent out some job applications earlier this summer, and I was shocked that I didn't get any reply because I actually have an excellent resume. Like, I couldn't be better qualified for jobs I was applying for. It was kind of shocking. There weren't very many jobs to apply for, so I don't know. Maybe people don't want somebody old too. Oh, he's too old, they say. That's possible. I don't know. Regardless, like I said, a lot of big highs and big lows. That was a big low. Well, it looks like this soccer game has gotten to halftime all tied up. Canada's got to be feeling pretty good about that, since they were expected to lose this game. Rachel's palate for coffee is so impressive. Last night I made coffee, and we have Sumatra, Mocha, Colombia, Italian roast, espresso roast, and Folgers. And I didn't tell her which one I made. I said, okay, which one of those, all those kinds of coffee, espresso roast, Italian roast, Colombia, Sumatra, mocha, and Folgers. Italian roast, yeah. Italian roast, espresso roast, mocha, Colombia, Sumatra, and Folgers. And she's like, well, it's not mocha. And then she said, it's not Colombia. And then she's like, it's not Folgers. It's not Italian roast, not espresso roast. It must be Sumatra. And she was absolutely right. I was really impressed because I don't think I'd be able to tell. I'd be able to tell if it's mocha or not. Mocha's really good, actually. I'm surprised by how good it is. How do they do that anyway? Do they like just put chocolate in there or what? I think I'll ask Gemini. That's the sort of thing Gemini is very good at explaining. It's a wonderful explainer. I cannot praise its ability to explain concepts enough. Like, it provided the most amazing, most convincing explanation of evolution that I've ever heard by anybody. I still think it's wrong, but I don't feel convinced anymore that I could always necessarily win the argument because well, it's predicated on basically a single disagreement about the capacity of genetic drift to accomplish the effects of punctuated equilibrium that we see in the fossil record. Regardless, I don't want to get into evolution. But it's an excellent explainer of things. And so it will know, how do they get mocha coffee to taste like chocolate? How do they get mocha coffee to taste like chocolate? Let's find out. Let's find out. You know, one thing I asked her that was, I got a very interesting answer for the other day was no, not that. No, I'm talking about, like, in the store we bought a bag of Starbucks that's called mocha. We're not adding any chocolate to the coffee after it comes out of the coffee pot, but it still tastes like chocolate. We'll see. Let's see what it says.
Ah, that makes perfect sense. You were talking about the pre-packaged flavored coffee grounds you buy at the grocery store. In that case, there is no actual chocolate, cocoa powder, or sugar in the bag. It all comes down to flavoring oils. If you look at the ingredients list on that bag of Starbucks mocha flavored ground coffee, it simply says, ground Arabica coffee, natural flavors. Here's exactly how those flavors get onto the beans before they are ground and bagged. The flavoring process. The roast. The coffee beans are roasted normally.
Okay, I'm going to let you guys listen to this while I go pee.
While the beans are still warm, they are tossed into a large mixer. Highly concentrated flavoring oils, extracted from natural sources like cocoa, vanilla beans, or spices, and sometimes combined with lab-made synthetic flavors, are sprayed over them. The absorption. Because the beans are still warm, they act like little sponges. Their pores are wide open, allowing them to absorb the flavoring oils deeply into the bean. Grinding. Once cooled and dried, the beans are ground up and packaged. Why it tricks your brain. When you brew that coffee, the hot water extracts those aromatic oils alongside the natural coffee compounds. Human taste is heavily tied to smell. Up to 80% of what we perceive as flavor actually comes from our olfactory system. Because the coffee smells powerfully like rich chocolate, your brain is tricked into perceiving a strong chocolate taste when you drink it, even though there are 0 calories, sugars, or actual chocolate solids in your cup. Want to know how to enhance the chocolate flavor?
Well, I'm back. I hope you learned about how they make coffee taste like chocolate. Turns out there's no chocolate in it at all. Just oils. Oils and flavorings. Hey, Cameron. I've been meaning to call you. I've been so caught up in doing all this stuff. I'm sorry I haven't. So, happy 4th of July, everybody. It's our 250th national birthday. Hi, everybody. It's our 250th. For people like me, and I believe Cameron as well, we were here for the bicentennial. 1976, I was around for the bicentennial. Now here I am for the 250th. Do they have a word for that? You know how like 200 is bicentennial. You know how 200 is bicentennial? Do they have a word like that for 250? Not dollars. Semi-quincentennial. Semi-quincentennial. Happy semi-quincentennial, everybody. Semi-quincentennial. Or sesquicentennial. Or quarter millennial. I'm going to go with semi-quincentennial. Semi-quincentennial. There was a Sasquatch at the semi-quincentennial celebration. That's a lot of sesquicentennial. Life is always a twisty road of busy items. Happy 250th 4th of July to you too, Rachel. Good morning. I'm sorry if I woke you up with the Gemini talking in the background. I realized when I was going to the bathroom it was kind of loud. But I couldn't get up and change it because I was in the middle of going to the bathroom. All right, looks like we're back to work here in Houston, Texas. Pretty close to where Ruben lives. He lives in Texas. I don't know actually if Houston and San Antonio are very close together or not, but they're closer than I am to Houston. My sister said T Swift and T Kelsey had Adam Sandler as an officiant at their wedding. Oh, they did have it, huh? They had it yesterday or what? Or they had it earlier this morning? That's possible. Especially if you're on the East Coast, it's possible they could have like an 11 a.m. wedding. And that would be 3 hours ago. A noon wedding 2 hours ago. I'm glad to hear that. I slept pretty well last night. I got up this morning and I'm so glad I decided to live stream because, live streaming is an important part of my life and connecting with the community and stuff. Not to mention the fact that Ike OG came to town and dropped a Ben Franklin on us, which is always nice. But I really feel like this morning's reconnected me with the community. It's been nice chatting with Ruben and everybody who's here. And Cameron just came by too as well. Hi, Cautious Muse. Sorry I didn't respond to you yet. I had some nice chatting with Spastic Garage as well about AI stuff. It's been a pleasant and interesting conversation. I also, I guess, did a little emotional venting, talking about how some parts of dealing with this are difficult because it's stirring up a bunch of old stuff. I have to go back through a bunch of old stuff. It makes me think of past mistakes and stuff. I was able to talk through that. And, I really feel like it is more effective because it's real than trying to deal with AI about stuff like that, which AI is not terrible at dealing with stuff like that. But, you know that it's artificial. Hello, G. Nice to see you're still here. We're back again. I noted you were here earlier. Maybe you just been lurking. Didn't mean to not include you in the people present. So, if you're like me, you've been watching a lot of World Cup soccer. There have been some good games, there have been some bad games, but overall, I'd say it's been an excellent tournament. I think Rachel's about had her fill of soccer, understandably. This upcoming Wednesday, that's just today, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, 5 days away, I get my bottle of Adderall, and hopefully I'll be back to making major progress in short order. Once I do that, hopefully we'll successfully get some significant matters off of our plate. Oh, come on, stop rolling around. They should just call soccer roll around and scream in pain. I'm so tired of them behaving like they got their legs chopped off just because they fell down on the grass. Come on already. I'm treating AI ChatGPT as a friend who has let me down quite a bit, but is still a friend in the friend group. I won't give them $20, but I'll ask the occasional question I think they'll be able to handle. Yeah, well, no, it's soccer. Hi, Isaiah Rude. You're also here just lurking and writing. How are you all doing? Oh, I'm doing mixed. Oh, Morocco just took the lead. I'm doing mixed bag. Doing good, bad, and everything in between. Well, Cameron, I don't have a lot of experience with ChatGPT. Rachel uses it. I just use Gemini, and yes, Gemini has let me down a bunch of times. Uh, but it's also come through like a champ on some occasions. I treat AI like the feds. No, I'm not paying my taxes. That was an attempt at a joke. Well, my bad. No, I understood it as an attempt at a joke. I just didn't. I just answered it anyway because I guess TI tool. As always, been live streaming. I seem to spend a lot of time walking inside and outside. Centennial 2.5 gets my vote. That's a good choice as well. Centennial 2.5. Maybe a little easier to say than sesquicentennial. Sesquicentennial. Well, Canada's going to have to mount a comeback here because they are down by a goal now. Centennial 2.5. Happy America Day. We, of course, won't be seeing any fireworks up here. No fireworks allowed in fire country. If we wanted to go see fireworks, I suppose we could probably go to Merced. They probably have some fireworks show down there. Or we could maybe go to Fresno, see Fresno fireworks. I don't know if that's where we're heading today or not. I got a walk in at the Arboretum this morning, later visiting a friend. What are you up to today? Yeah, that's Cameron. Well, it's good to hear you're writing a novel. When you're writing a novel, as I have myself, you end up living in the world of that novel in your head all the time. You're living with those characters and those settings, and it never leaves your thoughts. It's kind of weird. You know, you're at dinner with your family and you're thinking about the Duchess doing whatever. One of the characters in the book I wrote was called the Duchess. She wasn't ever called any other name than Duchess or the Duchess. So that was her name, basically. Most of the characters had names, but not her. She just, as an artistic decision, her name was just her title. She was very imperious. Is, I guess. The novel still exists. It's not bad. It's not great. Could possibly use an editor, I suppose. Kind of thing you might be able to get AI to help with. I'm excited to try out this Hermes agent that Ruben suggested as a way to self-improve Gemini. That's a great concept for a novel, Isaiah Rude. That's a great. Wish you all the best with it. Sounds like the kind of book I want to read. My book is also about gods and mortals. So I feel you. But it's a totally different concept than yours. It's a very ENTP kind of thing to write, that thing that you're doing, the thing that I did. Yeah, I feel so awash in various things I'd like to do. Even now in the midst of Sleepy Week, I feel sparks of excitement about accomplishing various things. But of course, I cannot accomplish anything until I am done with this move. And that's my top and only priority these days. Not right now, probably not much today. I don't know. I'm getting my Adderall again on Wednesday. I'll feel a lot more get up and go then. But I feel capable of doing things, capable of starting and finishing projects, capable of making decisions about what projects are worth doing. It's exciting. And it's important that I keep that good stuff in mind as well, because I can get kind of down in the dumps during the first few days of Sleepy Week. I don't remember when I actually last had Adderall, but it's probably been about a week, maybe a little less, maybe like 6 days, 5 days. I'm still having a sleep deficit. And as I get older, it's harder for me to get large blocks of sleep that are uninterrupted. So it takes a longer time for me to recover. My hope this time is to do a better job of managing all that, like to do a better job of minimizing the amount of Adderall I take such that it's effective at getting me to get things done, but that I'm not all thwacked out. Well, you're welcome back, AW one time. It's a witness. Didn't want to be facetious. Hope you both are well in the moving process. Well, thank you for the well wishes. We are managing. We are managing. It's a lot to deal with, but I feel up to the challenge. By and large, I feel up to the challenge. I still find it sometimes scary, sometimes intimidating, but I think I can get it done. Canada with a corner kick here. Not the best ball in. Now they're going to have a throw in. It sounded like I was seeking God's guidance on it earlier. I have. I have done so plenty. Well, I wasn't earlier. But, those sort of things are obviously private, subjective matters. One's relationship with God is not something to be particularly discussed with other people. As you well know by now. And of course, we got to have a witness come by and pull this weird, passive-aggressive Christian shit. That's part of the beauty of this community, I guess, is just like dealing with AI, it's not always smooth sailing. It can be quite rough seas sometimes. I guess that wasn't a penalty because he was offsides. That's my only explanation for it. Okay, well, you don't seem to get or respect the fact that, by and large, that's not the kind of stuff we talk about around here, right? You know that. This is not a Christian YouTube channel. I happen to be a Christian, but that is not what we talk about around here. You know this. I've made this clear to you plenty of times. And you ignore that. So instead of worrying about your feelings about me, why don't you worry about respecting my boundaries? See what I'm saying? It doesn't matter, right? I'm winding down here anyway. I don't know. Rachel and I may go do something for 4th of July. I could conceive of going to get lunch at the casino. They've got this restaurant at the casino, this cafe they have called NoHo Cafe, is absolutely the best restaurant, sit-down restaurant around. And it's not outrageously priced or anything. It's about the same as, any like sit-down diner kind of place would be. But they give you huge portions of absolutely delicious food. It's spectacularly good. So I wouldn't mind going down there. It will be crowded at the casino today because it's July 4th. So maybe that's a deal breaker for Rachel. We'll have to see how she feels about it. There has to be awesome fireworks around. I just left California a couple days ago. Oh, well, there probably are some good fireworks if we were to drive some distance. We unfortunately live in fire country, which means that there's no fireworks at all up here in Mariposa County. We could go to Merced. I'm sure there's some sort of public firework display in Merced. It's not that far away. It's like an hour. But I don't know. I'll talk with Rachel about it. We'll see what we want to do. It does seem like a good idea to kind of get out of the house for the 4th and go do something. Here comes Morocco again, threatening the Canadian goal. Ah, a lot of different emotions going on in my head right now. My heart ranging from anxiety to sadness to excitement. It's hard to process these periods of state change because everything's disrupted. Like all your normal ways have been disrupted. You're in the process of doing this thing that's massive, but it's just a transition process. And it's a transition process that requires a good grasp on one's subjectivities. And the problem with being FI polar is not only do you not have a good grasp of your subjectivities, but you're consistently missing times where you need to be paying attention to subjectivities. Like you're consistently failing to recognize that in this process, first and foremost, we must determine the subjectivities. Quite a pleasant surprise. There's there's going to be plenty of pleasant surprises in this process, and there's going to be plenty of unpleasant surprises as well. So I just got to keep my head screwed on straight and make my way through it steadily, step by step, do what's in front of me, while trying to keep in mind the big picture as best as possible. The big picture in this case is subjective stuff, and at least I feel like I've got clarity about what the priority here is. We want to be close to her dad. That's the priority. So, yes, like we were talking about expanding the scope of our areas where we might find a rental in order to have more choices, maybe pay less in rent or something. But now that I understand what our actual FI priority is, that's going to allow us to determine our course much more successfully. Chaos is a ladder. I did read it. Quite a pleasant surprise. That's what I read. Have you ever visited Africa? No, I've never visited Africa. I've visited Europe. I've been to China. I've been to Russia. I've been to Canada. I've been to Mexico. But I've never been to Africa. It can be a ladder. Why are you moving if you don't mind my asking? Well, we're moving for a number of reasons. But the express number one reason is to move to be close to Rachel's family. Rachel's dad's getting older; he's in his 70s, and we were never meant to live out here in the woods. I never intended to retire forever, so I do need to at some point get a job and want to, I want to re-enter the working world and life in general. I don't really like being isolated out here in the woods. We don't need this big of a house. And for a lot of other reasons, we are packing up and going to the East Coast. And I'm really looking forward to it, I'm looking forward to getting to know her dad better. I'm looking forward to being included in family stuff. I'm looking forward to living a new and better life where I'm back in the flow of doing things and accomplishing stuff and not just not just I read it. I may not have read it out loud. There has to be some awesome fireworks around. I just left California a couple days ago. I did respond to it. I just didn't read it out loud. The other day, when driving in here from town, I saw a little fox. It was about the size of a large house cat, the size of trouble maybe. It was hopping through the brush, which I understand is how they like make mice run and then they catch it, and eat it. Apparently, even though it was reddish, it was actually a gray fox that I saw, according to Gemini. Apparently, where I live, there are two kinds of foxes. The gray foxes are much more common, and the red foxes are quite rare, and they only live above 5,000 feet, and it's only 4,100 feet here. So accordingly, it was almost certainly a gray fox, but you are also actually smaller than the red foxes, and the gray foxes are also red in color. Just to make things extra confusing. Well, your comment about picking up a load of stuff from Compton, it did not show up, so maybe I need to have it on all chat. I have it on top messages, all messages. It was funny, I picked up a load in Compton. They were trying to scare me, saying no white man will ever make it out alive. Nicest people at the facility I think I've ever been out here. Well, good for you. I've been to Compton before. One time we got a dog in Compton. We named the dog Compton. It got hit by a car. Anyway, still 1-0 Morocco. Now in the 70th minute. It's on the hydration break. Canada's going to have to make something happen here. They're going home. They didn't get to play at home today because they're in Houston. People out and about for 4th of July, enjoying some family time or whatnot. Maybe we'll see them pass the driveway. Happens to be pointed that direction. It's possible. We're moving to New York. I did a job in Compton at a foundry. It was scary just due to the deadly, noisy conditions, not the neighborhood. Yeah, my dad was the 1986, for the 1986 census, he was like the administrator in charge of the Census Bureau in Compton. He'd come home with lots of stories. There's some picture I have somewhere in one of the binders of him being like overseeing this room full of census workers, all of whom are black women. In fact, if anybody wants a bumper sticker showing that you participated in the 1986 census, well, you are in luck. I have some right over here. Hell yeah, I was counted in 1986. Get away, flies. Boy, the flies have been really abundant. And even though I put all the trash in the garage because the bears got into the trash the other night and spread it all around, and I had to go pick it all up yesterday. So there's no trash out there for the flies to look at. They're just there because they want to come in the house. I don't know why they want to come in the house, because if they do, Frankly, it's a death sentence. They will come to this window. Eventually, it's open, and I will swat them with my fly swatter. Right. So you wanted to know more about the 1986 census. Well, the fact is that we know we can count on you. I know it's backwards, but you can make it out. We know we can count on you. Census 86. Put this on your car. Let people know. It would be funny to get a brand new car and put this bumper sticker on it. I wonder if you make people think a lot, like just because I'm from the CPT, punk police are afraid of me. You like that sticker, huh, Cameron? Wouldn't that be cool to put that on a brand new car? People would wonder, like, why does that guy have on his brand new car a Census 86 sticker? Yeah, but the loans on a Bugatti Rolls Royce, get a brand new Rolls Royce and put that bumper sticker on it. Have no other bumper stickers, just that. Make people really wonder, why is that guy so into the 1986 census? So I mailed out some old media, four 8mm films and one reel-to-reel audio. Unfortunately, I think I mailed the films wrong. Like, I was supposed to print out something and put it on it and mail it that way. Instead, I just wrote it on the package and mailed it to the post office. So I've not heard anything about it, even though I sent it out weeks ago. I don't know if I lost those things forever or what's going on, but hopefully somehow it'll get figured out. The reel-to-reel audio I just sent out, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's on that. It's also possible that it's blank, you know. My favorite was, here's a little story about, oh yeah, never should have been let out the penitentiary. Yeah, I had that album on vinyl. Crazy enough to think about. That's how old that is. When I got it, you know, you had a couple of choices, vinyl or cassette. Well, it looks like Canada has a free kick just outside the penalty box. They're going to try to maybe score direct or maybe try to kick it into one of their. Yeah, I know. It was a long time ago. That thing came out in what, like 1989 or 1990 or something? I think it's really interesting that, like, to get Gemini to optimally work, you need to have another AI layer between you and it called Hermes, right? That's really, it's really interesting. I wonder how much AI will turn into a bunch of individuated, customized builds of varying layers like that. So the free kick went over the crossbar. What are the sidebars called? The crossbar is the bar on top, you know. 88, huh? You were a junior? I was a junior too. You and I are exactly the same age. I may not have gotten it till 89 though. I don't know if I was that on top of the trends. So I think my plan will be this. We will live stream until the end of this soccer game. So that may be another 15 minutes, 20 minutes if it ends in regulation, or it could go to extra time. Ooh, shot on goal saved by the Moroccan goalkeeper. Guess who's playing goalkeeper for Morocco? You guys are going to be shocked to know this. Bono. That's right, the lead singer of U2 is the Moroccan goalkeeper. Like, if you said that to Gemini, that's a joke it wouldn't get if you said, what's up with U2's lead singer being the Moroccan goalkeeper? His name is Bono. But I'm 55, so it wouldn't get the joke. It would say, actually, that is not U2's singer. It's a different Bono entirely. Oh, October for you? No, Rachel's birthday is in January. She's a.
I was alive for the 1986 census.
Oh, Rachel was counted in the 1986 census.
Yeah.
That's great news, Rachel.
So maybe I should have that shirt.
Yeah, maybe. It's not a shirt; it's a bumper sticker.
Oh, it's a bumper sticker.
Yeah, I've got several of them.
Oh, that's fun.
Brand new, old stock 1986 census bumper stickers.
I like your idea of doing something.
Cool. What something do you like the idea of doing?
Well, casino's not a bad idea. What are we doing there? Are we just gonna eat or are we gonna gamble too?
Well, I was imagining us eating and then kind of playing it by ear.
Okay.
Like we could just gamble for a little while. We could find one of those slot machines that's got two
Two-seater?
seats, possibly.
Okay, I'm down for that. I think I have more capacity to do that than to do like the tables.
Yeah, or we could also like potentially after we eat go sit at the bar, get coffee and play some Keno.
Keno.
Oh, Morocco scored again. It's over.
I think we should go at a weird time too to the cafe.
Well, I mean, it's going to be busy from now
The whole
till
day.
it's July 4th, but we should probably be able to get a seat.
Yeah, I think we're probably gonna have to wait. I don't know. I'm
we
not
might
sure.
have to wait a bit.
It's a hotel. It's the 250th. It's 4th of July weekend.
It's actually 4th of July as
Yeah,
well.
it's gonna be packed.
Okay, well, what else do you have in mind?
Well,
We could try to go to Merced and watch fireworks if we wanted to time things later.
Oh.
I don't know, how much do you and I really like watching fireworks?
I like NoHo's food better than the fireworks.
Yeah, I do too. Their food's really good.
Yeah.
That restaurant in there is fantastic. We go to that restaurant sometimes where we just eat and basically I don't gamble at all, even though we're at the casino. So that's how good that restaurant is.
Yeah, it's really good.
There's salads. I kind of want a salad,
And I'm gonna have my regular because I can take it home.
Right. They give you large portions, so you have a lot of food to take home with you. Can I take you with us? No, we can't really do that. You were the very last person named in the 86 census, huh? You would have had to have been born on December 31st, 11:59.999 p.m.
Yeah.
for that to be the case. I don't actually know if the census works that way, but if it does, then that would have to be the case. Canada desperately trying to get something back, but this game's over. Morocco's got it. They're toast in the toaster. You never know, of course. They could get one back. But I have my doubts. The Paraguay game starts at 2 p.m. The Athletics play at 6:40 p.m. We lost yesterday. Boo! We're having a challenging time of it right now. The Athletics are 1 millisecond from midnight. Hard to pull the wool over your eyes. People can. People have. Oh my goodness! Is that a goal? Oh, it wasn't a goal? Oh wow! I thought that was a goal. The Moroccans just looked like they had another goal. It hit the crossbar and came straight down and barely stayed out of the goal. Now Canada has the ball and they're in desperation mode. They're down by 2 goals and there's only 5 minutes left in normal time. There'll be stoppage time, but you know. It's increasingly feeling like the Canadian goose is cooked. Oh, that was so close, but it stayed out of the goal. Canada retains possession here. Knowing FIFA, they'll probably give me a copyright strike for describing the game. FIFA is so Nazi about copyright stuff. Baseball is the best when it comes to that. They let people make content about baseball games, use highlights and stuff, even if you're just a YouTuber. There's a lot of YouTube channels I watch that use a lot of oh, well, thank you. We appreciate having your respect regarding our eyes being wooled over potentialities. Stop wooling over my eyes. You're filling my heart with lies. Stop wooling over my eyes. Today, all right. Thank you, darling. Thank you. We're just fortunate that emergency rooms have the foresight to know how to measure births by the millisecond. Yeah, we are fortunate about that. Put a little bit of that and a little bit of this. This is some very nice concentrate I got called crushed diamonds. It looks like crushed diamonds. What do I call it that? It's very clean. Clean and stony. Just what you want from your concentrate. There we go. As with any moment in a soccer game, this moment, if you ask, what is going on in a soccer game? The most likely answer is people are rolling around on the ground. I will say this World Cup has been better in that regard than previous World Cups because of a new rule they have. That if you have to receive medical attention, you have to stay out of the game for a minute. Should be more than a minute, if you ask me. If you really needed medical attention on the field, it should be at least 5 minutes, I think. They should have a like a penalty box that everybody who falls down and rolls around has to go stand in the penalty box for a minute, regardless of whether they need attention. Anytime it requires them to stop play, they should have to go off the field for at least a minute, maybe more. So, we've got one more minute of regulation time. I'm not going to sniff it. That's not what that's for. And like I said, we're going to stream until the end of this game. So if you're hoping for a longer stream, then you're rooting for Canada to score 2 quick goals. That's the likelihood of Canada winning this game now has got to be about 0.1% or at the most 1%. I know that's a large variation of percents there, but I think that's the range into which the likelihood of Morocco when Canada coming back to beat Morocco is very low. But I'm rooting for Canada. Go Canada, go. You show them you're not just for playing hockey anymore. Soccer is a lot like hockey. They're both like open field flowing games. But the Canadians are better at hockey than they are at soccer. Let's go Canada, don't be such a schmanada, come on a safari with me. 8 minutes of extra time, so we've got at least 8 more minutes of live stream ahead of us. And who knows, if they put 2 goals in, we could have an extra 30 minutes plus PKs potentially. We will find out. Everybody's body language on the Canada side is looking pretty deflated, but on the field, they're still putting up as much of a fight as they can, having trouble breaking through the Moroccan defense, leaving themselves a little bit more open on the counterattack, as per right here. Wow, they didn't ever go out of bounds. Canada earns the free kick. So that FIFA president guy, I don't know if any of you guys have been watching any World Cup, but that FIFA president guy is this bald guy with dark eyebrows. And he is amazingly at so many games. Like, even though it's in Mexico, Canada, America, he'll go to at least 2 games a day. Sometimes he'll go to 3 games a day. It seems like I've seen him at before. It's amazing that he's able to go see so many soccer games without having clones of him. They didn't call that a foul? Come on, that is a foul. I like you not calling a lot of fouls, but that was a foul. Oh. Yeah. The Canada sideline is full of crossed arms and downcast looks. But on the field, they're threatening. Wow, nice move. Got through. Now he's run out of room. He's earned a corner kick. Canada, they're all saying, hurry up, let's go. We've got to get this goal. Number 7 raises his arm up, says, here it comes. Here comes the kick. Pow! He kicks it short to a guy who kicks it in with the actual cross. And then Canada fails. Morocco has the ball again. They're going to start, try to control the ball for a while. They're going to take their time. course, they want time to tick by as fast as possible. Yeah, well, he tries to make them all apparently, but he can't make all of them, because sometimes they'll be like the morning games in New York, the afternoon games in California, and the evening game is in like Guadalajara, Mexico, or something. Or I guess it would be most hard for him to, if it was the morning games on the East Coast, the middle games in California, the evening games back on the East Coast, then that'd be hard because, like, let's say the morning game starts at 11 in the morning on the East Coast. If he goes to that one, and then the next one starts 3 hours later on the West Coast, well, that's not even going to be 3 hours later. It's going to be like by the time he finishes the first game and gets to the airport, that game will already be starting. So in that case, he'd have to just watch the two games on the East Coast, right? It's there are some instances where it would be literally impossible for him to make all three games, depending on the time zone things, right? So anyway, he's done a phenomenal job of making most of the games. And I asked Gemini about it, and Gemini said, well, he's got a private jet that flies him from place to place. And it's provided by Qatar Airways, as one of the perks of their advertising deal with FIFA. They provide a private jet for the FIFA president to jet around in to go game to game. Of course, environmentalists are like, carbon footprint. You know what? Good for him. Good for him. He's doing what a FIFA president should do, showing he cares a lot about this thing that they're providing. Our TV area is Visalia Fresno, Sanger Fresno, and Merced Mariposa. We're with KMPH. That's what channel I'm watching this on, apparently. Pow! Hit the wall of Moroccan defenders. Gets into a Canadian offensive guy who wastes the chance and kicks it out of bounds. With less than 2 minutes left and needing 2 goals to tie it up, Canada is looking like their goose is cooked. Their Canadian goose. You know, the migrating kind. Anyhow, I think this means it's time for us to go outside for one last cigarette. Because the game and the stream are winding down. So let's go muse philosophical for a moment. Discuss the stream that's been, the life that we have, and all other manner of important stuff before we bid adieu to this wonderful, wonderful occasion. Canadian silly goose? Well, I suppose, unlike regular geese, silly geese are the same in every country. Uh-oh, trouble. Have you seen the Key and Peele Continental Breakfast? No, but now I want to. I think I'll watch it when we end the stream. Key and Peele's Continental Breakfast, huh? That just, I mean, it's got a piece of toast and some coffee.
Oh, yes.
Cat's getting some serious loves here.
Yeah, he loves to be pet underneath his chin. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I tend to like their stuff. It probably will make me laugh.
Okay, now it's time to. Jeez.
I know, right?
All right.
I was pleased when Jim and I responded to a chat, which I delivered in a certain tone, with what I thought was the appropriate response, namely, I know, right? I was pleased when Jim and I did that.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, it did. It said, I was talking about a soccer game, not this one, but one of the soccer games yesterday, and I said, I don't remember exactly what I said, but I thought even before I sent it, I may have thought like the proper response here is IKR. Anyway, it came back with I know, right? I think it was something like it's crazy how blah 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 blah. And I said, I know, right? I was pleased. Been nice to see you too, a witness. Been a pleasant engagement. Yeah, happy sesquicentennial. Sesquicentennial.
Sesquicentennial.
Yeah, it means 250th.
Oh.
I wish you all a very merry sesquicentennial. I will say, as we have ended the game now and are finishing our wrestling grid, that it's been a wonderful stream. I thank you all very much for being here. I've enjoyed your company and your contributions to the morning's activity. It was relieving from an emotional perspective. I got to do a little emo venting earlier on. It was interesting from a conversational perspective about AI. It was helpful from a conversational perspective to learn about this Hermes thing. And I appreciate it. I enjoyed it. Something I'm not going to be doing as often as I used to, but I'll still come back to fairly often enough to keep touch base with everybody and find out what's going on and discuss things that have happened and such.
It's probably gonna go back to like how it used to be.
No, I'm saying I think I'm going to continue to not stream as often as I used to. But, but that I will periodically touch base, you know. I don't foresee a return to like daily streaming or anything. But I think it's more worthwhile to do it when I've had some stuff happen, some time build up. I've got stuff I actually want to talk about, you know. Anyway, what a long, strange trip it's been, as the Grateful Dead once said in one of their songs. What a long, strange trip it's been. I'm seeing cocaine. All in the days ain't a shame. Trucking. Meow, 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 keep meow, meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. That's a pretty good song.
Was Morocco favored?
Yeah. But it was interesting. In the first half, Canada looked like the better team.
Wow.
And it was 0-0 at halftime. But then Morocco turned it on in the second half.
Yeah, they clearly did.
Well, you know, it's like they got their first goal and they're running and playing normally. And then Canada had to kind of get more aggressive. They opened up a bit. By the end, you know, the last goal was just basically Canada's desperation left them wide open in the back. So Kawasaki. we no longer have a Kawasaki. We sold the Kawasaki. That was one of the things that worked out very well so far. We got exactly what we wanted for it, exactly the kind of deal we wanted, all in cash to these nice people who we think will enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah, they have grandkids. Quite, I think 4 current grandkids or something like that. 5 maybe in total. A few kids with grandkids, and they seem like outdoor people, and they were looking for uh, pretty much exactly what we offered them. They want to go on adventures with their grandkids.
Yeah.
So
And
I think,
what we had to offer them was a very lightly used little car with all the papers, everything up to date. It's got the sticker through 2028 on it or whatever.
right. All the stuff.
And it even came with like the air filter and oil filter and oil to change the filters and oil because Cameron, uh, we were going to do it, but we never got around to it. And so anyhow, that was a great success. We've had successes and we've had failures, and it's been a bumpy up and down road.
Mm-hmm.
But we're getting through it together as a team.
Yeah.
So what was the decision ultimately on whether or not to go to the casino?
Jeez, I don't know. Like, I want to go to NoHo, and I'm down for like going to some slot machines and sitting with you. Like, it sounds nice. I just don't know. Like,
Right, I don't really anticipate doing much gambling, really.
okay. So like, then it should be fine. We're gonna have to probably wait unless they're knowing a casino, knowing how hotels work. They probably have today, like overstaffed at the.
We could call and see if we can make a reservation.
Okay, or yeah. That's a good idea.
Hi, Ananova. Hi, Civil
Hey,
Girl. Happy
Anova.
4th of July. Happy sesquicentennial. Is that what it is? No. Sesquicentennial. Sesquicentennial. Happy sesquicentennial. A taste of Thai and nibble of Nepal. Well, this restaurant is really good at the casino called NoHo Cafe, but it is the 4th of July. Not only that, it's the 250th 4th of July.
And,
Not only that, it's Saturday.
Yeah, so.
So we are not going to be alone at the casino.
No, it's gonna be packed. We're gonna have tourists just coming in for Yosemite, and people who want to celebrate the 4th because there's no fireworks around here. So it's gonna be packed, in my mind.
Yeah, well, we'll see about calling them.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Maybe even if we can't make a reservation, we could, if it's going to be like a 45-minute wait, we could put our name in now. If we can put our name in over the phone, we'll be there in 45 minutes, But I guess, I guess we should get ready to go before we do any phone calling. I need to take a shower and change clothes. Well, anything else we want to chat about on the live stream before we?
I don't know what's everyone up to.
Anybody have anything interesting going on for the 4th on your end? You're gonna go see fireworks? We're not anticipating seeing any fireworks because we live in fire country, so there's no fireworks allowed up here. A slice of Sweden, a piece of Pompeii. The NoHo Cafe is an amalgam of America. If we're going for alliterative terms. It's an amalgam of America. It's got your chef salad, your pancakes and waffles and bacon and stuff like that. It's got appetizers like fried mozzarella moons that are delicious.
Oh my gosh, that's what I'm gonna get. And then they have these like potato skins, and they're so good. They have chives, and you can get them without bacon. Like they're not pre-made; they're made on the spot. So they're really good. Yeah, it's simple, but it's good.
Fireworks are banned this year, says Simple Girl.
Oh.
In Colorado, I guess. Casey Jones says nobody does anything on the 4th of July in Utah. Instead, the bigger day is Pioneer Day, which is the 24th of July. Is that like the state day of Utah? I don't know if California has a state day. You flies need to get out of here. They're probably still allowed in some parts of LA, I would guess. What's our plan today? Well, we're just talking about it. We're sort of planning to go down to the Casino Cafe, which is just American food. You know, they got pot roast, they got open faced turkey sandwich. They've got a variety of things like that.
Large portions too.
Really large portions and really delicious, just super good. It's the best restaurant around to eat at. And, you know, I think the casino makes an effort to bring people in via the goodness of the restaurant in hopes that they'll gamble and lose money at the same time, you know, which is probably true. I'll probably lose a little bit of money at the same time, but
and I had a theory too that the bigger portions make people stay, you know, because like.
Oh, right. I think that's, I don't know, for me, it made me sleepy and want to go home and rest. I think that was the day I had the chicken fried steak and egg. We are in a drought, and and are having a lot of wildfires. Air quality is good. Well, I am assuming that Mr. meant was something, but it works fine without the Mr. the sentence. I don't really need to know what the Mr. was meant to be. I can't quite figure that part out. Hard Rock Cafe in my area is opening a hotel and has nice restaurants. Plus, you could go watch a show. Who doesn't love tender beef products? Well, you know, some people don't eat meat.
I don't eat meat. I try it. Well, it's slowly getting there.
Yeah, you know, it's a difficult time to make that transition right now because when we get to New York, we can find
more places,
different restaurants that have a variety of food. We can find a place that's good for both of us.
That's true.
Up here is not particularly vegetarian friendly.
No.
So, it's like they say when you're quitting alcohol too, like, don't try to also quit smoking cigarettes at the same time. Well, it's kind of like when we're moving here, it's a good idea to take it a little easy on yourself and quit smoking cigarettes after we move, you know?
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'll keep it at
obviously continue to eat whatever you want,
I'm not gonna keep myself like I have been for getting SpaghettiOs with meatballs and I'm not gonna one of our main places that we go to eat now is the taco truck. Like, I'm not gonna say no to that. It's just too.
It took us a while to find the two best places to eat in the vicinity, I guess you'd say. Although I don't want to discount Sportsman's. Sportsman's is good too. There's nothing bad about Sportsman's, but there are some things bad about it that don't have anything to do with the food. Like, there tend to be flies in there.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know. it's like less comfortable place to sit than say NoHo. Um, then the taco stand is the best place to get to go food from. They're really their food is always spectacular. Every time I get it, I'm just like, oh, this thing is so good. I get the supreme burrito. I try different meats, different times. Rachel always gets 4 tacos. They're little tacos, you know, and
Oh,
they're just so
so
good.
good.
And for me, I think for Rachel as well, we almost always have some leftover for later to eat.
Hmm.
I get what I get is bigger than what Rachel gets, but
Yeah, mine's smaller. That's why I get 4 instead of 3 now. I pretty much finished them in the car. Um,
I finished my burrito in the car the other day, yesterday, whatever that was.
but it definitely holds me over till dinner time.
We get that taco truck basically every time we go to town.
Yeah, because it's the best.
It's the best. It's phenomenal. They're also really nice there,
Mm-hmm.
which is cool.
That is cool.
But it's like you can be as nice as you want. If you don't have the best food, I'm not going to go back to you a bunch of times.
Yeah.
It's they're and what's interesting is they are a Michoacan
Yeah, that's
Michoacan Mexican food. And you know, we talked about Michoacan in the song Piñatas Sombreros.
yep. That's where Delilah's grandmother's from.
Yep. That's where Delilah's grandmother's from.
So does Mexico have states?
Yeah.
Ah.
Michoacan's a state of Mexico. I don't know if they call them states, but they do have states. They could call them provinces like Canada. I don't know,
Mhm.
but same thing. Oh no, these people aren't gonna spit in the food. They're wonderful. They do a great job,
Yeah, they're really nice.
and they're really nice, and they're always seem very happy to see us, and because we go there so often, you know, it's like.
Mhm.
Mexican food is the only thing you miss from California. Well, that's one thing I'm gonna miss when we move to New York. Is I'm gonna miss that taco stand.
Yeah, there's not really. I can't really say that there's gonna be.
Right. That's a bit of a California specialty.
I think Mexican food in general is gonna be something
It's not as
that's
good.
not as good. Yeah, you know, there's.
There's always gonna be trade-offs when you move. You know, some things are gonna be like better. Some things are gonna be worse. And
Yeah, but then again, you know, we'll get Chinese, Italian, German,
pizza.
Thai pizza. Pizza will be bagels.
Yeah. You know, I'm really looking forward to it.
Me too. And my dad seems to really be looking forward to it.
Yeah, he does. And that makes me realize I need to, you know, we needed to start this conversation about what was really FI important, and that is being close to your dad, and that's what we need to prioritize.
Yeah.
So, well, I think it's about time to wrap it up. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. What time do you want to get going?
I don't
I don't know
know.
what to wear.
I gotta take a shower.
Oh, all right. Okay, so I have time to figure out what to wear because it's chilly inside.
Is it chilly? Oh, because the air conditioning's
in
still
the
on.
casino.
Oh, inside the casino.
Yeah, I always remember like, oh, wear jeans because the air will be on.
Very Tinkerbellish and Krista from Ferngully. I don't know Krista from Ferngully.
Oh, thank you. Let's see.
We'll see if we can get a picture of Krista from Ferngully. You know what? I'm gonna pee, and I'll just let this go with Rachel here for a minute.
Oh, thanks.
Cool. I don't think it looks that much like that. It's fine. Okay.
You can see like my roots coming in. I have like a 1/2 inch of roots There we go. But yeah, like I'm going, so my plan is I have a 10 guard for Eric's buzzer. So in August, I plan on cutting it with a 10-inch, with a 10 guard. It's not 10 inches, it's like an inch and a quarter. Um, and cut off the pink. Thanks, Casey Jones. Yeah, I like color with the roots too. I always like color with the roots much more than like without the roots, like when it's freshly colored. But it's a lot, like to maintain. So I'm gonna grow it out and then I'm gonna keep it short because it's so much easier. Um, and then in August, I'm going to cut it off so that there's an inch and a quarter of virgin roots. So it's just my natural hair color. I have no idea, should I dress festive? Like, I'm wearing blue right now because I'm like, okay, red, white, and blue, right? But it's a dress, and in the casino, it's pretty chilly. No, I don't think so. Eric grows out his hair long, though, to be fair, Lich. Thanks, simple girl. It's like, I'm like a pretty lazy showerer. And now with my hair, I can just dunk my head into a sink, lather up real quick, dunk myself into the sink again, and I'm done. Like, showers don't take forever anymore. I don't even really have to think about it until I, have to, when I get smelly. Or I just, feel like I need to be clean. But my hair, I need to clean so much less often. I know I didn't think I could, simple girl, to be totally honest. I I got my hair cut 23 years ago, like a pixie cut, and I got a lot of criticism for it. It was in high school, so I was like, I'm never gonna do it again. And then I buzzed my hair really short with Eric, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's gonna like talk about how he's not attractive to me anymore, um and like, men like women with long hair, like I don't know what I'm gonna do. And he's the first boyfriend, he's my first husband, but he's the first partner that I've ever been with who like was like, oh, you're G.I. Jane, like that's cool. Like no, no judgment about it. So I was like, wow, I actually have the freedom to like express my hair through myself through hair now. I don't feel like I have to like keep it a certain length or a certain color from my partner. I can experiment with my look, and I have a partner who's not going to try to control that. And that means a lot to me because I don't like to be controlled in that area. Okay, so what inspired it? I was actually cutting my hair. I was cutting my hair shorter, and I gave myself a shag, right? So my hair was long, and I pulled it all up, and I cut it, and I gave myself a shag. And as I was getting shorter and shorter, um, it was getting more and more damaged because I hadn't been like getting regular trims, so there was like damage throughout the hair. So as I was losing length and adding layers, the damaged hair started to poof out. So I was like, you know what? Eric doesn't mind my hair short. My hair looks terrible right now. I am going to buzz it. So yeah, I did. And then I was like, you know what? My hair's so short that bleach will react really quickly with it. And well, I might as well color my hair. So, my husband said I should have made a beeline. You should have made a bee. That's funny. You know, like I'm triggered by people telling me how to dress because like it's kind of like personal. It's personal for everyone, but like it is a trigger for me because one of my first like major relationships, like my boyfriend was trying to like mold me into the person who he wanted me to be. I was young and impressionable. I didn't know. But I learned later that I didn't like it. So I was like, never again am I going to be in a relationship where I have the person dictate like how I look. So like, I've been in relationships where people have dictated my look and I succumbed to their suggestions, but I never really feel myself. Okay, so I talked to Eric about it, and it seems like we're going to be consistently streaming less. There's not that many people watching anymore. It seems to be very aimless without much feedback. It just seems to be more of a time killer, and instead of gaining stuff from it, Eric would like to make more like long form and short form topics, content on topics like MBTI typology, whatever he's interested in. So live streaming is going to become a lot less prevalent. It's just I feel like the joy is not there anymore. It was live streaming, at least for me. Hey, Show Media, happy 4th. Happy 250th. I don't think there's like a real draw for a lot of people to live stream on YouTube anymore. I think a lot of people have moved to Twitch for streaming, and I just don't see it. It seems to be something that Eric is just not interested in really doing anymore. I'm sorry, Simple Girl. I know. I don't think it'll go away. I just don't think it's going to be used the way we have been. It's going to be more long form content, from what I can tell. Twitch seems to be like a really young platform. It seems like there's a lot of young people, gamers on it. Okay, so Eric and I are most likely going to the casino today for the 4th of July. I was thinking about wearing this but it's cold. It's I don't know. You could ask Eric if you did a poll and people said they wanted more streaming, if they would keep it. I don't personally. I don't. I personally I think that he's kind of over it, but we can do a vote. So yeah, like I don't know, like the casino is chilly, so I'm thinking about like maybe wearing blue jeans and a red top, 4th of July. I'd rather you guys stream when you feel like it, when it's spirited to do so, but it's fun to see more random streams whenever. Yeah, I think it's going to be, like, I think the streams are going to be more intentional rather than, you know what? I'm bored. I'm going to stream. Possibly a simple girl. You could definitely bring that up to him. Because you're not the only one who thinks that. You know, there's a lot of people who miss the streaming. I don't think it's gonna be I don't think it's gonna be like a drop off where there's like no, it never happens. Like I just don't think it's going to be as often as it has been in the recent past. It's just I think it's conflicting. It's deflating too. Like Eric has been, you know, he's been kind of like the viewership isn't there. So when he's been talking about something for like an hour and a half, and like there's only 4 people in the stream, it's really deflating. That's true, Shomidi. He seems to be pretty certain about this path. I don't know. We'll see. Rachel, Eric has fans who love to argue, and I believe Eric enjoys destroying their theories, right? I don't think he does actually enjoy destroying them. He will destroy them when he wants to, but um but he never like comes back to me and says, you know, I really love arguing. It's always like he feels bad after. But I'll definitely let him know, like, and it's, we want you guys to be a part of our new journey too. Everyone's sad about the likelihood that we're going to stream less.
Well, you know, there's some reality to the fact that something occurs less frequently, but still regularly, that people might appreciate it more than when they have a glut of it, you know.
It's true.
I guess we're extending the stream to at least one more cigarette. It's nice to have 10 people here, you know.
Yeah, it really is. I was explaining to the chat how, you know, we can be on here for talking about something for like an hour and a half, and then only have people, like 4 people watching, and it can be kind of discouraging.
Yeah, it can be. I have pretty robust defenses about that, all things considered. I show media because when I started doing the channel, there wasn't even live streaming yet, but I had a setup arranged so I could like have conversations with people in a room, like a panel discussion kind of thing. But uh, there were plenty of times when I was waiting there by myself for a long period of time to nobody show up. But I didn't really get discouraged. I kept doing it and eventually gathered kind of a community of people there. But I still am subject to that discouragement. Did Eric ever find those 3 raccoons who listen to his talking when he goes outside for a smoke as they sit back trying to figure out what he's doing outside? No, I haven't seen those 3 raccoons since. I feel as though you should live the life that you want and not worry too much about what we think. Well, that's all well and good, but that's sort of FI wisdom, and we're a couple of FE people. Sometimes I enjoy it. I'm changing a bit, becoming a more mature version of myself. I think Rachel's making changes as well, and it's a time of transition. I'm transitioning to a woman, but then back to a man. So
I'm transitioning from living in the country to living in a more popular place.
yeah,
Or into the mountains, really, not the country. It's rural.
yeah. I think you mean more populated.
Yeah.
But it is implicit to the fact that it's more populated. It's more popular too.
I don't mean that. Mariposa is pretty popular because of Yosemite, which actually makes things difficult.
Yeah, that's interesting. Mariposa is more popular than it is populated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's an interesting observation.
And there are gonna be times like this right now. Like, it's quiet, there's barely a breeze, small breeze.
It's perfect temperature.
Yeah. And we get to sit in our front porch area and talk with you guys. Like, that's something I'm gonna be missing for sure.
Of course, it's not always like that here.
Well, that's the thing.
In this particular instance, I'm shocked, given it's the 4th of July, that the neighbors across the street aren't blasting some
I
music.
know. No one is.
Yeah, super quiet and pleasant. I feel a little bit like I should engage the neighbors at some point here. Like, I maybe kind of left Jared hanging a little bit on our last text exchange. But I don't know. There's so many different things to fret about. It's amazing. If you are in the mood, if you're in the market for fretting, then what we're doing right now is perfect for you. You should do exactly what we're doing right now. You will be able to fret over so many different things all the time. I don't know how many people are in the market for fretting. It's cool that these French fighter jets are flying over New York City, spewing out red, white, and blue smoke.
It's pretty exciting. It's a pretty exciting day. I can't lie. 250 is nothing. It's not nothing.
Oh, it's the sesquicentennial.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful day.
Not surprising we're going to get a little bit of that stuff going on since it's 4th of July.
Yeah.
Some people out riding their off-road bikes and stuff.
Well, in a way, it kind of is nice that we're in a place where you can't have fireworks because they would be going off all day. Even just because it's the 250th.
Yeah. I just got 50 more years till I will have been at the 200th, 250th, and 300th.
Wow.
It's got to live to 105 years old. No problem.
No
Piece
problem.
of cake.
Yeah, piece of cake.
Let's see. Sup, Big Papa. Rachel, you have to scroll up to see our comments on him leaving YouTube. Eric took
He's
a-
not leaving
I'm not leaving
YouTube.
YouTube.
I said we're not streaming as on the stream as much anymore.
Listen, let me tell you what's going on with the channel. Right now, we're going to be in a period of intermittent streams, and that's it, really. But I do plan to, when we make the move, I plan to make a serious effort to make it primarily a typology channel. I plan to reorganize the front page so it just features typology stuff. And I want to try to maximize typing session business. Hopefully make enough money from that and a little bit I make from YouTube. If I structured the thing differently, set it all up for monetization and such. Then I'm hopeful that it can generate sufficient income that I could just do a little part-time debate coaching on the side and such, you know. And when I do make that transition to try to do what I just articulated, then the channel will be much more active again. But it'll still involve probably less streaming, and the streaming will be more about typology stuff when it does occur. Probably there'll still be some streams like this. That's unavoidable. It's part of who I am. Like I really feel glad that I streamed today. It's been satisfying. But I do think I'm about ready to wrap it up. I want to take a shower and get ready to go to the casino. And so I think it's time to bid you adieu. We love you very much. We greatly appreciate you being here. And we'll see you next time.